We're joined by Nick Ferroni, who is a history teacher, Union High School, and an activist. Good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Real quick, we're going to go to a clip from our friends at the NJEA. This is a classroom close-up clip. Describe your activism.
Well, I'm an active educator, as most educators should be, and it's in reference to revising as far as what we teach in school, how we teach, and it's as far as being outspoken for students, particularly female students, minority students, and LGBTQ students.
Well, let's find out more from this great classroom close-up profile of you and your work and the difference you make every day. Let's go to the clip.
Okay, today for Throwback Thursday, we're gonna do a little feminist activity. I start off with a trick question. I want you guys as groups to come up with 5 things. Identify 5 things that a woman can't do better than a man, or just a woman can't do. It could be professionally, it could be biologically. They bounced around every sort of idea because they really were thinking hard about it.
A woman can do anything a man can. It's just not, a woman doesn't have that type of opportunity a man has.
That's right. A woman can do anything a man can do, and that's what history teacher Nicholas Ferroni is trying to instill in his students. His lessons go way beyond the textbook, and there's a reason for that.
I feel like our textbooks indirectly teach sexism, racism, and prejudice, because we give the impression that white Christian males did everything, and that women, minorities, and certain religions were side notes. First question, up until 1978, women could be fired from their job for being tall, divorced, pregnant, or married. Pregnant. Women were fired for being pregnant.
The one that shocked me the most was where women will get fired if they are pregnant, because they think that we can't do anything as good as we can because we are pregnant.
When he asked about those 5 questions, I automatically thought that women can do anything. There's nothing that women can't do.
All right, so 5 things, like can women play football better than men? Can women be president better than men?
Most of those things happened no more than 30 years ago, and my parents are only just slightly older than that.
Own a house.
That surprised me the most. I thought it would be more like 100 years ago, but no, not even a generation passed.
Up until 1972, women were not allowed to run the Boston Marathon. All right?
I thought the lesson today was crazy because women couldn't do something simple as opening up a credit card or a bank account. Women couldn't run a Boston Marathon.
This is in the not too distant past. What women were
Mr. Ferroni's lessons in the classroom sparked an interest in one of his students. She wanted to continue his discussions after school, so she created the Feminist Club.
Being socially aware, advocating what you believe in is so important, especially as teens. So I created a feminist club to give people a chance to learn about social and world issues, to come together and make a difference in society.
Women have a lot more to offer than just who they're wearing or how they present themselves. We are people, we have thoughts, we have ambitions.
Women are strong. Women have the ability to do anything we choose to, but we don't have the opportunity to do so. So I think women need to stand up and just go out there and do whatever they want to do.
How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, this is amazing stuff, Nick. I mean, the way you're able to engage these students, how great is that?
It is. I mean, I love my job, and I always say all good teachers question their profession once a week because it is one of the most mentally draining jobs, next to being a parent, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, I love what I do. It's a great opportunity to kind of leave a big impression on kids and open their minds. It's funny, I do get some pushback for how I teach and what I teach on a national level.
Huh? Why?
Because, again, I mean, it's very interesting how, depending on where you go within this country, people believe that, you know, teaching kids to be open-minded is their version of indoctrinating kids to accept people for who they are. When my argument is very simple, it shouldn't require bravery for a kid to be themselves. You know, our goals as educators are not only to educate, but to make sure kids enter class and feel safe and empowered.
So these so-called, quote, social experiments that you engage in, describe one.
Well, we did one recently that went viral. And obviously, we all know education experience is the best way to learn. Like, kids rarely appreciate something until they experience it. We all do. So to give my students an idea of what it was like to be a woman in Congress, which is 20% women, obviously 80% men, the premise was we picked 8 of our toughest football players, great kids, and we set up a scenario where it was 80% girls and 20% guys, and they were voting on issues that directly affected the boys.
Wow.
And the boys, the video's insane because they were flipping out how unfair this is and this outrageous. Girls are deciding the fate of boys. And it was such a powerful lesson where at the end they finally got it.
What about the guys deciding the fate of women all the time?
Oh, did you see the picture? Well, that's the whole premise is, you know, I should have no right to tell a woman what to do with her body.
Right.
Just like I wouldn't ask women's advice on a jock strap when I'm going to the sporting goods.
Thanks for bringing that up.
But it's,
And how into this are most of your students?
They are because I force them to be engaged, or I put them in situations where they feel like we rarely care about things until it affects us personally. So we just shot one recently to show them what Jim Crow South was like. We didn't base it on race, we based it on grade. And I had my students vote on new school policies that were affecting freshmen and sophomores and giving them the benefits and not juniors and seniors.
Wow.
And all my students are juniors and seniors, so they were flipping out. And then at the end, it obviously allows us to tie in right to what we're doing in class.
Nick, when did you know that teaching would be your professional life?
I would say when the first time I saw Indiana Jones, I'm like, I want to be that guy. But
Well, make that connection.
well, I mean, Indiana Jones just made me fascinated with history, adventure, education. That what we think we know is pretty much, we know facts, we don't know the truth. There's facts and there's truth. There's three sides to every story.
So it's so interesting. You grew up, and I grew up in a hardcore, we did not grow up at exactly the same time, but I grew up in a hardcore, male-dominated, ethnic urban, otherwise known as an all-Italian neighborhood. Let's just say it was quite traditional, meaning women were not dominant and strong. They were, but they weren't allowed to be who they were. What was it like for you?
It was the same. I mean, my dad's very, very, very proud Italian man. I always say my dad showed me what a man does. My mom taught me how to be a man.
There it is.
But it's at an early age, and I always bring up John Adams' quote about women, where Abigail Adams was basically writing, "Don't forget about the women," and he joked around. He said, "Abigail, we all know that men govern, but women rule."
That's right.
And I'm thinking about my mom ruled the household. I love my dad, but he wouldn't get to work unless my mom found his keys every morning. So it's that premise. So it's like from a practical standpoint, women do rule. I mean, it's in most households, yet on a governed level, they have very little involvement.
You love what you do.
I do, and it keeps me passionate. I'm still no gray hairs yet. If I do get them, it's my students' fault.
Yeah.
I say that, but it's every day I still love what I do, and it allows me to be creative, and it gives me an opportunity. It's like having 150 little brothers and sisters. But there are so many amazing teachers in New Jersey, at my school and throughout. So my goal is just to kind of show that there are so many teachers going above and beyond for their students every day, and they don't get enough recognition.
Nick Ferroni is a history teacher at Union High School and also clearly an activist. And on behalf of all of us who have children in the public schools, I want to say thank you to you and all your colleagues for what you do every day. Thank you
very much.
Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, the law firm of Gibbons, P.C., Berkeley College, the Northward Center, the New Jersey Office of the Insurance Fraud Prosecutor, and by Gary's Wine and Marketplace. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.